To start, I guess my dad had a billion CDs of, like Black Sabbath, Ozzy, Van Halen, AC/DC, all that kind of stuff. So that was my first kind of introduction to music.
CDs were those plastic things?
Yes.
At
The single
stores?
Yeah. That no one buys and no one cares about. And so that was my first introduction to music, and actually, my first album I personally bought was the Marshall Mathers LP, which was kind of like a step in the opposite direction. I don't know why.
You came from a rough past.
Yeah. Down on 8 Mile.
That is the record with the video that had Marilyn Manson in it.
Yes.
So I connect dots that way.
So my first, I think, actually the reason that I started playing guitar was not because I really had any interest in it. It's because I was in middle school. I had a bunch of friends that were trying to start some. I wouldn't even call it it was not even a garage band, because it was so bad that it was like a basement band. We would play in the basement, and I just wanted to, and I wanted to be a part of it just because they were my friends, and I wanted something cool to do on the weekends or whatever, just with them. And so I begged my parents to buy me a guitar just so that I could attempt to be in the band. And so I did that. I got lessons for probably 6 months, and then I quit, just like Ryan, and I self-taught for the rest of the way. And then after that band, I ended up being a front man for a screaming band a few years later, and I'm trying to connect my past dots here.
So there's a lot of lead singer attitude in this band, is what we're saying.
Yes.
Tell me about it, Ryan.
Yeah.
LSD, as Eddie Van Halen likes to call it, lead singer's disease.
Oh.
So then that band didn't work out, and it's actually funny going back to that, because I played in a lot of shows as a local band to bands that we had been on tour with and played with. So that's kind of an interesting thing that I noticed, and
that's encouraging, honestly, for people who are in local bands, opening for national bands. Like, you might be on tour with those bands someday.
Very weird. And the funny part is I never bring that up, just because I don't want the awkward conversation of, hey, you remember this 10 years ago? Probably not. So so yeah, and then I met these guys just by chance. I ended up going to one of their shows, and I had talked to Chris online, a few times here and there. And then I went to the show, talked to him, and then they were touring in a van and didn't have a whole lot of money. And so I was like, if you guys need a place to stay, you can come stay at our house. We have more than enough room. You can shower and do whatever you need to. And the whole time that they were there, they were like, you have to be in our band.
I was just about to say, you have no idea how bad I want to join in this.
Please do.
You can go a little bit more, and
Okay.
I'll jump in.
And so I grew up in Seattle, or the outskirts of Seattle, so at the time it was like, yeah, right, how would that ever work with them being from Pennsylvania? And they just kept saying, him and our other guitar player, our old guitar player, TJ, they just kept saying, you have to play for us. And I'm like, how's that supposed to work? You guys have all your members, I just didn't get the backside of it.
Leave that to us.
Yeah, pretty much.
So badly what I want to tell you. Yeah.
And so then Chris and I just kind of kept in touch over the next few months, and then he called me one day randomly and said, hey, do you want to play bass for the band? But the catch is, you have to buy your own gear and you have to move to Pennsylvania. It's like, fair enough. I'm on my way. So then I ended up living with him for probably a year, just And going back, thinking about it, it's just crazy to think about because I had no idea who any of them were. I had no idea who they were as people. So I just left my home and just moved into someone
We did contemplate raping and murdering you, but we figured you were more valuable on the stage.
Is that off the table, or is that still a
We'll see what happens on the downslope.
That's pretty much the start and the now, or up to now, I guess.
And real quick, I know he's chomping at the bit. Growing up in the Pacific Northwest, what was the culture shock like to then be in semi-rural Pennsylvania?
Very interesting, because I mean, it's a huge city, obviously, and where they live is, where I live now is a super small town. It's like you have to drive 30 minutes to go to a mall, anywhere where there's, anything, restaurants.
Anyone but Amish people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything else around is just small diners and family-owned businesses and stuff. So that was really interesting for me. But now being there, it's funny because everyone that lives there is like, I hate this place. I want to leave, and I love it. And now being there, I don't want to leave. I want to just stay there forever.
So grass is always greener, as they say, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure.